We are here again once more. Well, I never expected this. Who'd have thought we'd be back here again so soon? It's been 2 days! We are on a study tour of Great Britain with the intention of learning the country's legal practices. In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. Couldn't we just watch from the gallery? Well, yes, I suppose that's true, but for the person in the dock, it may well be his last... For the person in the dock, it may well be his or her one and only time in court. It could be life-changing or life-ending. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. When you put it like that, you're quite right. Still, we have a job to do. Good morning! Ohayo gozaimasu! Oh my gosh, your eyes are so red. Mr. Natsume, good morning. Oh dear, are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. The early bird catches the worm, as they say here in Britain. Yes, I've heard that expression. I really don't want to catch a worm. I don't think I was meant to be taken literally, sir. So I tried desperately not to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a wink. Poor thing. Now I'm absolutely exhausted as a result. Do all literary people take things so literally? Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. I wish I had 9 lives! My whole future hangs in the balance! I'm too terrified to tremble! Really? Because I can feel tremors in the floor. Wonder where those come from. I can't do this! I can't take it! Although, local student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. Yes? I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the court. It looked like the opening night of the opera. There were so many people. I had no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London. Neither did I. Do you know why that might be, Mr. Sato? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I have no idea myself. So that all-knowing look on your face is just a coincidence then, is it? I don't have the truth for me! It's because of the Reaper, isn't it? Lord Von Zieks? Is that right, Mr. Sato? I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Von Zieks is on the front page of every one. Oh, I knew it! Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper of the Bailey, he stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. Hold on a second, I want to check something. We could have used that money for lodgings. From yesterday. Yes, Inspector Gregson told us something similar, didn't he? And he said as much himself. The judge, I think. Oh, hello! The trial 2 days ago marked Lord Von Zieks' return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. The trial of Magnus McGilded. What a harrowing experience that was. I believe that appearance made even greater waves here in the capital than today's. Well, we wouldn't have realised, of course, having only just arrived in the country. Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question the papers are asking, and they are all speculating various answers. Mundane? Mundane? It's the most significant saga of the century to some of us! I mean, no offense, Mr. Nutsmith, but that's how the papers are describing it. Oh, lest we also forget the fact that it could spark an international incident. Obviously, the reappearance of this infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention. But there's another blatant similarity with the trial of 2 days ago. Oh? Yes, I agree. Locum student Mr. Nuttleholder Esquire. It's you! Oh, of course. Me? I suppose that's true, yes. It's a bit superficial, but it's a start. Both times, it is you who stands against this legendary prosecutor. It can only mean that you're friends with the Reaper! Bro, we're the opposition. I don't rub shoulders with Deathbringers! I'm afraid that's, there's really only one other explanation. It can only be another example, Mr. Nuttleholder, of your uncommon bad luck. Thanks for that! Oh, this is just my luck! Why must I be represented by a man with such frail fortune? By the least lucky boy alive! Excuse me, I've survived many a trial now. Get out of here. Well, let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Nutsmith, who asked me to represent you. Yes, it's true that I'm a student, new to London, with little in the way of experience or skills or luck. But I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter end, and I will believe in you, Mr. Nutsmith. Oh, benevolent looking student, Mr. Nuttleholder Esquire! You're not alone here with us, Mr. Nutsmith. Whatever happens, we will always be on your side. Oh, benevolent looking assistant, Mr. Nuttleholder Esquire. I am in your debt forever! I shall never forget this great kindness for as long as I live! Mr. Natsume! Mr. Natsume! Counsel for the defense! The court session is about to begin! Kindly make your way to the courtroom at once! Alright then, Mr. Natsume, it's time. Let's go! Yes! This is it! My second appearance in a British courtroom. And my second trial against the Reaper. I hope you're watching over me, Cosima. Because this time, I won't let my faith waver. I believe in my client to the last. Just like you believed in me. I believe I can do this now. I'm ready for this fight. Why is she part of the jury? In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed. Sorry, what? Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you were a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago. A mere amateur. Do you have a point, sir? Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance. Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. Susato-san. After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent. Well, the hallowed chalice. Very true. And the most fascinating, if dark, trial it was too. The tragic conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquitted and his unfortunate violent end. Thank you, counsels. I see both sides are in fine fettle. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you ready to carry out your duties here in court as impartial members of the public? You never know when you might be down on your luck. I believe in fair play for everyone. I'll give my last name to everyone.
Oh, I must warn you, I'm rather more ruthless than AP. Oh well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow.
I'm afraid to say, I think it's quite possible that mustache foreigner did the deed. Come on, what are you waiting for? No doubt he did it anyway. Sorry, didn't quite catch that. Very well, let us proceed. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Von Zieks. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in the Far East. The accused in the dock today is a student from that same land, a certain Mr. Soseki Natsume. And while our country has extended its foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably, the kindness has not been returned. In fact, the student is accused of a most sinister act. Well, of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street. Knife crime? I tell you from bitter experience, those are the worst! Bloody oath they are!
Just look at that salad complexion and short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese.
Come on, let's get this over with. With me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3. No flames. Sorry, didn't quite catch that. Pray, forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hallowed chalice here in this great chamber. Allow me to call the first witness to the stand. Very well. Bailiff, lead the inspector in, please. Your name and occupation, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector, Scotland Yard. Would you please summarize the events of the case for the court, Inspector? The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green. I beg your pardon, sir? Thought to be? Yes. Having been stabbed in the back by her attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now. She's been comatose ever since. What? So they don't even know who she is for sure? Comatose. I see. But her life is not in danger? Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Pray, elaborate on the details, Inspector. Sir, if I could ask everyone to look at this street map. As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago, at around 5 in the afternoon. It happened on the pavement running alongside Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare for horse-drawn vehicles. It had not long since stopped the snowing as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared, and she was currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. But being unconscious as she is, we've been unable to take a statement from her, of course. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far. Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence if you please. We shall read it in due time. What of the weapon that was used? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, we didn't look at this. My bad. Your book, 17th February, a little bit before the not the murder, the incident. The sum of 2 shillings tendered in receipt of... Okay, not sure how this is going to help us, but we sniped it anyway. Alright, the case file. Young woman rendered unconscious following a stab wound to the back. Olive Green. Rolly beat. Are we going to see this as a witness? The victim remains unconscious. Her name was gleaned from the personal effects. Other details are unknown. Apart from the single stab wound from the large knife, no other signs of injury were observed. The assailant was seen running away by the alleged assailant. Okay, not much to go on. But since we're having this trial, hopefully there will be more. Sir, I have that here. It was removed from the victim's back. Ouch. Big thing is starting to make me scared to walk down the street now. With a heavy blade like that, almost anybody would have been able to stab the poor woman. Even the scraggly-looking Soseki-san, I suppose. Common or garden jackknife, I would say. Rather nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence. Now then, what do we know of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume? I don't know about that. Let's open it. Bit blunt. Look here, Mr. Naruhodo, just at the tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing. Missing? Right, well spotted, Mr. Sato. I wonder what could have happened to it. It's totally not relevant. You don't think it could still be lodged in the victim, do you? Oh dear, I do hope not. It sounds terribly painful. Oh dear. Not much else, I don't believe. From what we can tell by looking at the woman's possessions, it seems she's a poor student herself. Hard to imagine she would have anything much worth pinching, my lord. I see. Well, in that case, are we looking at some deep-seated resentment toward the victim? I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim. If theft and grievance have been ruled out as a motive, what reason could Mr. Natsume possibly have for stabbing the young woman? Yet you arrested the man in spite of that, in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way!
Objection!
What? Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery. Your words have soured its hallowed bouquet. What? For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here. What? Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to arrest the Nipponese student. Yes, sir! As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, and there was an unusually light fog. Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else about but the victim and the accused, and some other witnesses. But never mind that now. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. Those being a number of old books he had just bought. He was on his way home from a bookshop, it seems. Well, that much is true. It's just a matter of working out who the books belong to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. Old books, you say? Yes, my lord. I have a photograph here of the scene of the crime, taken immediately after the incident. Yes, I can clearly see the books to which you are referring. I will take the photographic print as evidence, please, Inspector. You Nipponese are a spineless breed, too cowardly to admit defeat. Denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Forgive me, Lord Von Zieks, but the defendant is not denying everything as you put it. What are you doing, Mr. Sato? Do go on. Mr. Natsume has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Now you mention it. When we visited him in the prison yesterday, he did tell us what had all happened. Oh my gosh, so wordy. As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat she was, just as I went to overtake her. She suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold hard slabs of stone at my feet. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. green overcoat. That's exactly what the woman in that print is wearing. Oh my, photographic print in full colour. What will the world come up with next? iPads? YouTube? The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. That does not mean he's guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing the woman in the back. There was nobody else there at the time, just the two of them, the victim and the accused. In other words, there is nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. A fact that the accused concedes. It seems this cross-examination could prove to be pivotal, counsel. Proceed, please. Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance. I guess I'll press on this. From behind, you say? That's right, as you can see from this print. Yes, quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back. And you say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in a critical condition. Comatose, no less. I'm afraid so, my lord, yes. She's been treated at Bart's. I was hopeful she'd come round before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be. Yes, that is indeed a pity. It would have been most illuminating to hear the victim's own account of events. Luck is on your client's side, it seems. On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky. Your force of tone is seriously undermined by those disturbingly wide eyes, I'm afraid. Ugh. Mr. Nutsmith's belongings. I think you'll find it's all there in the photographic print of the crime scene. Yes, the 3 books on the floor. That's right, my lord. Second-hand books they were. Irreparably damaged after falling in the snow, of course. Looked fine to me, but alright. The accused could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand. More like one arm. Which means his other hand would be free to wield a knife, for example. Oh. He's very clever, isn't he? What do you mean? He's made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Nutsmith had his hands full with his books. He's managed to close the one avenue of escape we might have had before we even knew it was there. You mean to say that the defendant was holding his belongings as he thrust the knife into the woman's back? Why would he drop them though? That must be what happened, my lord, yes. There's me a number of old books. The defendant apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis. Yes, so I understand. A shop full of old English literature. I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention. The bloke's room was stacked floor to ceiling with those musty old books. Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Miss Inspector? Well, if I must. I'll have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid. The closest second-hand bookshop to the accused's lodgings is this place here, Bourbon Books. A little place on the corner of Briar Road and Meerschaum Street. As it happens, the accused is currently living in lodgings on the other side of... Oh my, I'm sorry. On the other side of Briar Road at the opposite end. Which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken home. Strange. Bourbon Books. Something like this. Something we can get him on. Because according to something we've snooped at... Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. Why? We don't. The defendant would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from that particular shop. Mr. Naruhodo, I think that what the inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance. Yes, I agree. The most important point that the inspector just made being the bookshop's name. Inspector Gregson, may I ask you a favour? What? Stop snoring in my courtroom. The courtroom. Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance. Maybe. It is! Oh, well, you know, I mean, yes! It could be a very important clue. Very well. Not that I can see it being of any great significance. But please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector. Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say. Could the man be any more sardonic? He was on his way home from Bourbon Books, no, sir. Objection! Come on, Junosuke, more confidence now. If I could just stop you there, Inspector Gregson. What is it, Sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know. Very busy. This is a receipt we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident, and details of the purchase of 3 second-hand books. You found that in the accused's room, did you? Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it. Go on. This receipt was issued from a book called Your Books. Your Books? Y-O-R-E, I presume? Yes, my lord. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at a second-hand shop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books. What? Inspector, do you know of this other bookshop? Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand bookshop not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that, well, it's such a small place, I didn't think the accused would have known about it. But in fact, that is the bookshop which the defendant visited on the day in question. And this receipt proves it. Yes, for what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchases musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis. I disagree. I mean, after all, I have the street map here, if that might be of help. Yes, thank you. Have a look at this, please. If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon Books, then yes, he would almost certainly have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually at another bookshop, Your Books, it may very well turn out that he wouldn't have passed that location at all. Could that be true? My, if all that depends on where this other bookshop is, but I do declare it may be a possibility. Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir, what you just said? Absolutely, and absolutely could be right. Inspector Gregson, where is this Your Books establishment? Obviously, we looked into that. Turns out that Your Books is just here on the next corner of Meerschaum Street going east. The long way home, possibly. And there you have it, as you can clearly see now. Oh. My learned Nipponese friend is obviously in training to be a clown, the way he regales us with such witticisms. To your future career in the circus. You put that glass down now, or I'll put it down for you. I didn't think I needed to spell it out, but here we go. The accused was coming home from Your Books instead of Bourbon Books. It's no doubt you still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. Yes, thank you, Inspector. Allow me to reiterate for my learned, if somewhat slow, Nipponese friend. Wherever the man purchased this musty tombs, it makes no difference in the final analysis. Ah! As I suspected, you can't fool me, and I don't suggest you try. What did I say, huh? I've had enough of this now. Beg your pardon? Terribly sorry, but would you mind repeating that? Mr. Nuttleholder, we mustn't give up. What do you mean? If the prosecutor's assertion is correct, the members of the jury may very well decide that Mr. Nutsman is guilty. She's absolutely right. We must think. We must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully. They claim Soseki must have passed the location of the incident on his way home from Your Books, but I have an objection. Let's go down a different path, shall we? The assertion made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed. Explain yourself, counsel. Yes, my lord. Your gloriousness. You can see what I mean on this map. When returning from Your Books to his lodgings, Mr. Nutsman could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. use these streets, look what happens. He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked.
Objection.
Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that route is what's commonly referred to as the long way around. Well, you wanted the scenic route. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home? Well, the answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings and is the obvious perpetrator of this crime. Yes, I've got it. Obviously, we must ask the man himself. Ask Mr. Nutsmere which route he took home. I have already informed the court of the accused's response to such questioning. He claims he has no recollection. That's right. As I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home. I don't believe this! I thank you, my learned friend. It suggests that we do not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Pray, what say you, insightful jurors? But even if that's the case, the defense still... Who's holding it? Oh dear. I agree with Lord Von Zeeks. Wholeheartedly and in every way. I don't believe it. Does this mean... We members of the jury are completely convinced now? Very well, in that case, I hereby call upon all members of the jury to present your findings to the court.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
It would appear the jury's leaning is unanimous. To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve Queen and country admirably. Mr. Naruhodo. Not yet. This isn't over yet. I still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury. I have to tip the balance of those scales the other way. I have to turn this round. Somehow. Those are the eyes of Quarry, not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial? Rights of the defence written into an antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago. Call Call it antiquated if you will, but it's the defense's prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it so chooses. Very well, counsel. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with the summation examination. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Of course we're ready. I'm all too familiar with that Nipponese whippersnapper and his uncas refusal to throw in his alley. Very well then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty. Oh. For pity's sake, that little Nipponese oddity already admitted it himself, didn't he?
If he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why, it can only have been the victim.
The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter. So the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful! We really don't care, can't we just wrap this up now? I've got work to be doing. Your books, yes. Nice shop that. The bourbon books. No, not worth a visit. Oh, is that relevant, sir? With only minor exceptions, the reasons of finding the defendant guilty are all too clear. When the stabbing occurred, the only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused. And the accused himself has admitted to seeing the victim in a green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes. Furthermore, we have heard from the inspector that the defendant then fled the scene. I must say, I would have ample grounds to convict this man already. Oh dear, even the judge appears convinced of Mr. Nottsmere's guilt now. Why did he have to run away like that? How are we supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody could see? This is impossible. How can I possibly make a case for the defense? Mr. Nuttlehoodle, this is no time for grumbling. If we want to force the trial to continue. Yes, I know. I have to turn the tide. I must make the jurors change their minds. Well, 4 of them at least. Exactly. We have no choice but to forge forward. You have the floor, counsel. Begin your summation examination. Yes, my lord. Slap those cheeks now. I just need to keep this trial going somehow. Whatever it takes. Whatever means necessary. Come on, Yunosuke. You can do it. The defense's rebuttal. He already admitted it himself. I beg to differ. It could be another woman. In a different path. You're right that at the time of the incident, the defendant admits to have seen someone wearing a green overcoat walking ahead of him.
Well, quite. That's precisely my point. Clearly, that someone wearing green was the victim. And clearly, that funny little Nipponese man with the disturbing mustache is the culprit.
How dare you! Disturbing! But let us not forget, madam, the victim vehemently denies attacking the woman.
Why, of course he does. If he admits to stabbing her, his life is over. The man is obviously a liver-faced coward. Honestly, claiming the woman simply collapsed before his eyes.
But if that's a lie, as you're suggesting, do you not think he would have concocted something more credible?
Oh, I really couldn't say. After all, you are foreign. Who's to say what goes through your funny little minds?
Oh! I'll tell you what's going through my funny little mind right now, but you wouldn't like it. Can't read blue text, can you?
I do declare the man has already made the admission. He himself has stated that there was nobody else around. Surely the conclusion is obvious. No one else could have committed this awful crime.
Ah!
If no one else could have done it, the accused must be the man. Really, it couldn't be more simple.
Your argument is compelling in its simplicity, I must admit.
Oh my, you are too kind, my lord.
That went well for her. I'll get you on this. What if there was a contrivance? Press, hold it! But you can't deny there are other routes Mr. Nutsmere could have taken back from your books. Yes, like you drew on the map, you mean? Was it Calabash Road or something? Precisely. It seems to me that what counts is whether the little Japanese fellow actually went that way or not. Well, yes, that's true. And at the moment, there's no proof that shows he did, is there? Well, yes, that's true as well. And as I understand it, the accused himself doesn't remember which way we went, does he? Yes, that's annoyingly true. Winter nights are dark and cold, so the way I see it, you want to get home as quickly as possible. Yes. Why is this all true? So really, the only thing that makes sense here is that he went home along Briar Road. I'm supposed to be convincing you here. I've given it a lot of thought, you know. I didn't just make up my mind on a whim like he did it. I mean, if there was some logical reason why he might have gone to the Calabash, well, it'd be different, wouldn't it? I'd be happy to reconsider my position in that case. Honest, I would. The reason why Soseki-san might have taken the longer way home. Yes, a good reason. I don't imagine you'll be able to sway this young man's opinion without one. Well, that's a reasonable request. Not much to press, but let's see. Hello? Whatever is the matter, young man? You're the wife of Mr. Garadeb, aren't you? The landlord who rents Mr. Nutsmere his room? Master's wife? Where do you get your ideas, sir? I'm the maid! The maid, you understand! Just keeping up that charade. Oh, this is going to be awkward. Why didn't you mention this yesterday? You'd been selected for the jury this trial, I mean. Well, I was told not to mention it to anyone until the day of the trial, you see. It was in the letter I received. The instructions were very clear, so I'm afraid I have no choice. I see. Anyway, Mr. Natsume, the defendant, takes lodgings in your master's house, does he? Yes, that's right. Although he's only been in a little over a week now. And in that time, surely you must have taken stock of his character. Does Mr. Natsume look like a man who would commit a crime such as this? Oh, goodness me, yes, he's just the sort. Why? Spending all his time in that dark and dingy room, sporting that unscrupulous mustache. The man never speaks. Don't get me started on those shifty eyes. All the neighbors are talking about him. I've heard them, you know. People think he must be building a bomb in there or something. Gee, poor Mr. Natsume. How could people say such things about him? He's just a harmless bookworm, nothing more. Well, you just called him a worm, so... Anyway, I better be careful about inviting this maid to speak. She said enough damning things already. I really don't care. Can we just wrap this up now? I've got work to be doing. A man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes. Don't get clever with me now, son. My life's on the line too, and so is my family's. The likes of you wouldn't understand, but a labourer like me can't afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat, and neither do the wife and kids. See, that must be very hard. I go to the union every morning to find out what needs doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's water and gas supply pipes bursting left, right and centre. After cheap labour to get the roads dug up to fix it, it's a hard slog from dusk till dawn it is. So, you were out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you? That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it's just round the corner from where it all happened. That old bookshop it was. Another coincidence. That's right, Meerschaum Street it was. Meerschaum Street. On the map, Mr. Naruhodo, there are only 3 named streets. Juror number 5, I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please. What's the point in that? Can't we just get this business over with now? Please, sir, it's important. Fine, I'll do it. Yes, well, what if the road was blocked? These two statements are clearly at odds with one another. At odds, counsel. Explain yourself. Please don't point. It wasn't me, I swear. What? I just want to get this done and dusted. Well, juror number 3? Oh, me, sir. What do you mean? Juror number 5's words just now were extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implications of what's been said on our map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsume visited this bookshop to purchase a number of second-hand books. And on the same day, we now know that there were works being carried out on Meerschaum Street, making it impassable. Which means that the defender's route home could not have taken him along Meerschaum Street and Downbriar Road. Yes, of course. What do you think, sir? Well, yes. You can't argue with that, really, can you? We must have had a good 2 yards or more off the pavement up. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had to turn back and go the other way. So, the only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer route back to his lodgings. Yes, I suppose he must have. I suppose I must be right there. Juror number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop. But we see now that he had no choice. Yes! My lord, Mr. Jackson, if I may. Yes. I don't think in good conscience they can say the man's guilty now. Yes, I'd like to see this trial continue so we can get to the bottom of what really happened. What about you, sir? Me? Well, alright then. There's a hole in the prosecution's argument. It should be filled in, that's what I say. Oh, well done, Mr. Nodderhoddle. That was wonderful. Oh, no. Well, we've managed to change a couple of minds at least. It strengthened our position somewhat. Yes, and it will prompt the other members of the jury to reconsider their stance as well. They'll be asking themselves if their current leanings are really right or not. Now, if only we could just identify one more clue or discrepancy that would make them stop doubting Mr. Nutsmare. We might be able to tip the balance completely. Yes, that's exactly what we've got to do. Von Zieks is looking to bring this trial to an early conclusion. That's what we have to prevent, but whatever means we have at our disposal. Thank you, Counsel. On with the summation examination, please. Yes, my lord. Righty. I have to say not guilty at this point. I can see where this trial goes on from here. Whether it's digging up roads or digging up the truth, you've got to see it through the end, haven't you? Yes, sir. Righty. Who else can we get? Admitted it himself. A woman in green. Okay, what if it wasn't said woman? Sir, do you have anything valuable to import? Sorry? For did you say? For what? No, what I said was hold it. What I wanted to ask was, do you visit your books often? I like the old books they have in there, yes. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about. And at what time did you visit your books on the day in question? Well, I was picking up books in there all afternoon. It would have been just before 5 that I left. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about. Just before 5, you say? Exactly when the victim was attacked. Are you sure about the time? Oh yes, no mistake there. I remember it well. I'm not about to forget that day in a hurry. Not after the dreadful time I had. What do you mean? I was walking down Calabash Road when it slipped on the ice and donked my head. It's always worse after the snow stopped falling. That's when it's most slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did. I really thought my number was up. Wait a minute, let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road. That's right, I live in Cornpipe, you see. Heading down Calabash Road is the quickest way for me to get back from your books. Juror number 6, I must insist that you add that information to your formal statement. It may very well be extremely significant. Sorry? Extremely sick? No, I'm quite alright now. Your hearing's not by the sound of it. Sorry about that. You've changed 2 of the jurors' minds, Mr. Naruhodo. Just 2 more to go.
Deliver the finishing blow, now! It's time to turn the tables here.
Wish I knew how to do it. It's a subtle takedown. I suppose words will have to suffice for now. Alrighty. Well, a woman in green. Does it have to be a woman? Bit of a stretch, but when is it not for us? These 2 statements clearly show a flaw in the juror's reasoning. Flaw? What are you talking about now, counsel? Juror number 2? Juror number 6?
My, whatever do you mean, sir?
I think perhaps the old man didn't hear you. Unbelievable. It's not like I was loud or anything. Well, there is at least one fact of which we can be sure here. The bookshop receipt found in the defendant's room clearly indicates that on the day of the attack, he had been to your books and purchased a number of second-hand titles. He then returned home on foot.
But the man says he has no recollection of his return journey.
That's correct. But what he does remember is seeing someone appear in front of him on the way. Someone in a green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes.
Yes, we are all well aware of this. The poor young woman was stabbed, obviously.
Can we really be sure of that, madam?
My, whatever do you mean?
I'm sure you heard juror number 6's account of what happened to him that day. That same afternoon, there was somebody else apart from the victim who was wearing a green overcoat and who fell over on the icy streets in the neighborhood.
Oh my! My goodness, you mean?
That's right. I'm referring, of course, to the hard of hearing juror number 6.
Are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat of whom the defendant saw collapse in front of his eyes was the jolly old gentleman on the end of the bench here with me today?
That is entirely possible, yes. After all, the old man has somewhat similar build to the victim. Look at that. My goodness me! Sorry, you need to pee. And crucially, we know precisely where the old man in green overcoat fell.
Calabash Road.
Therefore, if the person who saw Mr. Nutsmith saw collapsing in front of him was in fact juror number 6, it means the defendant must have taken the long way route back to his lodgings. And if that's true, then clearly the crime scene of Briar Road where the woman was stabbed was not on his way home.
Oh my!
You idiot old man, if you haven't been so daft as to be roaming around there, we'd have boxed this off hours ago. And really, what were you thinking wearing such a befuddling coat? What did you say to me? Is it a crime for the elderly to walk the streets these days, huh? Is it a crime to slip over the ice? We're not saying that, sir. Is it a crime to keep up with the latest styles and wear a beautiful green overcoat, is it?
My lord, I do hope it won't cause any inconvenience, but...
You'd like to change your leaning, I presume?
I do declare that I would. I should like to call for a verdict of not guilty.
Thank you! And I want to! I cannot do all. What? Is it a crime to change your mind, is it? Well,